have saved that too.
I fear his long-standing duties here have affected him.
If that's right. Alright, why don't you go look up the skills. When you figure out the skills, you can come back and give me advice on it. And then we can have a chat. Alright. Nope, bandage doesn't help either. Nor does the blight dot, because the dot triggers before you get a chance to use your items. You cannot use an item from another character, so you can't have like one of your hounds use like a blight cure on the disease character. It'd actually make the game a little bit more interesting if you could, because then it would be less RNG oriented whether or not you just fucking died on that. But you can't do that. It's only the character himself can use an item. So sucks. Ugh. Damn. Yeah, you know what we need? Alright. Filthy's affliction, abusive. Okay. Ooh, retreated. That would have been worth doing. Did I have the option? Oh fuck, I could have actually saved them. Oh man. Would retreating have saved him? Pretty high chance actually. So retreating would have triggered affliction on the hound. It would have put the Vestal and the men-at-arms at like 40 stress maybe. But there would have been no dot tick. Fuck, I could have saved the level 6 Vestal. God damn it, that makes it even worse because I could have done that. No, I would have retreated 100% there had I thought about it. Shit. Yeah, mistakes were made. Alright. Getting a bit worried about this. Some interesting things though. Like, I argued when I wrote, so a million years ago, when this first came out and I beat the Darkest Dungeon and I beat NG+, the developers asked for feedback from me about NG+, not just me, they asked a lot of people, but asked for NG+ mode feedback. And I gave them some NG+ feedback. And some of the stuff I mentioned was that it'd be really nice to have like I call it a skirmish mode, or like a composition testing mode essentially, where I could choose a mission type like level 5 or boss versus hag or something and go directly to that mission with characters that were pre-leveled, so I didn't have to do that, so I could test compositions. Because I'm now really curious. I mean, thinking about this playthrough, well, I mean, what have we picked up from this? Men-at-arms are amazing. It's the level 5s are a bitch without stuns, which we knew they were going to be a bitch without stuns. I would choose my quirks a little differently. I would lock in anti-blight, anti-bleed resists at a higher rate, as well as anti-disease risk perks at a higher rate. I don't think I can fit Plague Doctors in every mission, though. As much as I love that heal, I don't think I can do it, right? The Hounds have been good, but I don't know about exceptional. They've been exceptional in the level 3s, but I'm not sure they're that exceptional in the level 5s. The stress healing is just not... It's not directly where I need it to be. The damage projection is excellent. The Hounds are doing a really good job of doing damage to the back ranks, especially when I use the dog treats. Those have been really, really good. Vestals, of course, have been beyond belief amazing. So, if we did this differently, what would we do? Is there some way I can fit in another class that can heal? I mean, these parties are designed to be... I mean, the reason why we're using these classes, if you guys don't understand what we're doing with these classes, the whole point of running these particular classes, we're running classes with the absolute amount of survivability in there, right? Like, the classes, we have guards, we have high protection, we're running protection items, we're running healing items, we're running extra heals, we're running anything we can do to not put ourselves in situations where we have to test Death's Door. Because when you test Death's Door, you run into shit like this. I mean, when was the last time we tested Death's Door? Like, Hag? Like, I can't remember the last time before this to lose a character. So, no, Occultist, I don't think Occultist is good enough. I mean, Cultist does bad single target damage in the back ranks, good AoE damage. It could, you could run second healer. You could argue for like double Vestals in every run, like Vestal, Man at Arms, Bounty Hunter. But you run into things like you can't deal with the stress. The stress curing has been useful. But I mean, is the only thing we could have done better? Like, I mean, we could have retreated there. So clearly that, in that particular fight, that instance of that fight. But thinking about like items and quirks, like how do we avoid getting in that situation again? I'd love like a 3-item mission. Yeah, Crusader. Crusader last could have healed to get him off death's door. Yep, that's true. So drop Bounty Hunter for that though. Crusader's damage is just so much worse than the Bounty Hunters. Like it doesn't have the mark to deal with the high protection targets. It doesn't have much of fucking anything going for it, quite honestly. Okay. How'd it go, Aqua? Yeah, the level 5 dungeons are a little harder than anything else. That's what I'm saying. Like, all these compositions that might be working for you at level 1s and level 3s, the compositions that work at level 1 often don't work at level 3. The compositions that work at level 3 often don't work at level 5. And the compositions that work at level 5 often don't work at all in the Darkest Dungeon. So, I mean, yeah. I think No Lights plus, I haven't actually felt, I mean, yes and no to Hala, right? I feel like this game is really, really, really similar to poker in a sense, right? In that you can make the correct play in the correct situation and still get punished for it. And you're gonna get those swings, right? Like, so it might be, it's a percentage play again, right? In poker, you make the correct percentage play versus the correct pot odds to be coming out ahead over the long run. And in any individual game or any individual session or across any period of time, there's going to be ups and downs in your RNG, right? And I feel like we just hit a pretty low RNG there. But the trick is to be designing comps, and we can do this in a way you can't do in poker, is we can influence the conditions of the game in a different way. And that's why we're taking this break right now to think about this, is what else could we do to influence the game in that way? I mean, clearly, we've seen even at the highest levels of damage right now, the things that are killing us are still bleeds and blights. Those are still the most scary part. We've started taking more bandages and more blight potion removals, which I think is generally a terrible idea because it's a lot of money spent on stuff that's only situationally going to be useful. We got to get the perks that lock those in. There's some debuffs. There's some buffs that affect that too. Camping buffs. I'm trying to think which classes. I think it's Leper, Abomination, and Antiquarian that have blight and bleed buffs too. Self only though. Also, holy fuck, does Eldritch Blood really give them extra stress? What a terrible buff. We don't have any sort of resistance buff in here, right? Ideally, we would have cheaper... So, what are the camping skills that prevent nighttime fights? I think they have, like... I don't know, I want to look that up too. Alright, let's take a quick look around. So what does the Leper have? Leper has Bloody Shroud, but it's self only again. So that's not helpful. Thought maybe we'd find something useful out of the leper. Does Arbalest have any sort of anti-bleed buff for the Vestal? No, she has a bigger heal. Nope, she has nothing for that. Any classes I'm missing? Looked at Occultist, looked at that. There's not a lot of ways to buff your... Yeah, you can't afford to use holy. I mean, that's the holy water idea isn't terrible. Not like before every fight, clearly. I mean, but in like a fight versus spiders or a fight versus they're like the worm things in the Warrens. That would be decent too. You know, I see you guys are still ripping on darkness, and I appreciate that. And you know, backseat gaming definitely pisses people off too. But when you're backseat gaming and you're additionally wrong, and then the second round of after you're wrong, you go, if that's right, implying that it's not right, implying that you still think you know fucking better. If you still don't get why you're pissing people off, I don't know what we can do for you. We can just ask you to move on to the next channel, to go find some other streamer who just doesn't pay any attention to your chat whatsoever, or can deal with that better perhaps. Because I mean, holy fuck, is that a stupid series of comments in a row. So what are we doing about this? We still have enough Vestals to complete this playthrough. I think we had 5 before this, and I think we're down to 4 now. We actually had 6 and we're down to 5. No, 5 and we're down to 4. Which means we can't fuck up now. There's no way we make it through 6 more bosses and 4 darkest dungeons without another Vestal death. There's no way. No way. Okay. Well, we gotta get back in there. Excuse me, my voice just cracked. Get back in there and do what we can about that shit. You gotta get rid of Tapeworm. It's the most annoying debuff of all time. I like Beast Slayer. Get rid of accuracy, rabies too. Main needs to be cured. How else are we doing on stress? Sun in Exile needs to be cured. Or Watcher needs to be cured. And Aaron. That really broke our bank too. We're used to pulling in 30k off these missions. When you fail missions, you lose a lot of cash as well. We can spiral downwards off this too. It's not even that improbable, honestly. Oh yeah, I have plenty of trinkets. Trinkets are just banked cash for sure. But that was another week, and we already were worried about the week limit. Are you kidding me? Fucking Zanzi. Syphilis? Really? Use protection, bro. It's not that hard. Oops. Oh, it's a disease. Which I don't have access to right now. So you're just useless to me for some period of time. No, you can't have self-healing. The whole reason were you not listening either? We just literally talked for about 20 minutes about things we could do to make it so we don't die to blights and dots that crit us. And you just suggested running 4 self-healers. Alright, I give up. I give up. Ah. And we gotta go earlier too. Gotta lock in protection. So, okay. Protection, blight, bleed, disease. We've got to get into the level 5 sooner. Or rather, level the dungeons more efficiently. Because we're running into a weak limit. Which I didn't think would ever be possible on these, because we normally beat these in about half the time. We're deliberately not doing the darkest dungeons right now, guys. Are there crit resist items? There's only one skill I know of that influences crit. It's an Arbalest skill, and it's called Suppress, and it's an AoE minus crit chance for enemies. It's not a very big minus crit chance. It's like minus 5% per round or something. And the enemies are probably over 25% right now, or around 25%. So. Scouts. Sure. I mean, we have to level the wheel though, right? So we have to go back in there. We have to do it at some point. Oh, we do have a 5th. No, we have a 5th Vestal. Okay, we gotta let's take a break from these darkest dungeons for the level 5s for a minute, and level a Vestal here. Can I run Plague Doctor in this dungeon and have any hope of doing something useful? No, but I could run Double Hound. That'd be fine. 1 Hound for stress cure, 1 Hound for damage. Okay. Death blow crit into a dot into death door into death is very unlikely to happen. No. 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 Are you kidding me? That's how all of our characters that we've lost this playthrough have died. Like, truly? Do you want to argue this? Succumb to blight. Bled out. Bled out. Notice anything going on here? It might be an unlikely sequence of events for that to happen, but that's pretty much the only sequence of events that reliably kills characters when you have guards and other heals. Like, and that's true of every playthrough. Okay. What is... Oh, now I got people deliberately trolling. Bring bandages. Yes. Like that's how that works. Alright, let's take a look around at our levels. Let's go get items. Let's get into the next dungeon. We can start gathering some more gold. Need those Plague Doctors. Yeah, that is a thought. But I mean, who do I not bring if I bring Plague Doctor there? It's got to be the Hound. So I have to decide between... I mean, okay, so what would be the ideal group then? The ideal group would have a healer, would have a dot curer. So we're looking at Vestal, Plague Doctor already. We need damage... we need slowing them so we don't have stuns, so that's Man-at-Arms, so that's Bellow. And then the last position is Plague Doctor. We have 1 position left. We've been running Hound as a 4th or Bounty Hunter, right? Because the Hound gives you stress heal, the Bounty Hunter gives you actual decent damage. You can't really use Blight in 2 of the dungeons. I mean, probably what this means is we should be running Plague Doctors in the Cove. And the ruins. Jesus, does that mean Crusaders? Because position 1-2 stress healing. So what is that then? Man-at-Arms, Vestal in every single comp, and then it's Plague Doctor, Crusader in ruins and Cove, and then it's Hound, Bounty Hunter, and the other ones. Do we only need those classes all together? Is there any other comp that's going to help us more? And do I need that many Crusaders? I mean, Crusaders and Men-at-Arms are super, super tanky. Oops, I just wrote Hound down twice. So that would basically be 6 characters we're using only, which makes sense. You do limit them, the more limited you do with that. Okay, so what would we do? So what specific bosses do we need characters that aren't those characters? So working through like that, low damage, yeah, but it's not that low damage actually, either of them. The Vestal actually does fairly good damage, surprisingly. Do I need Bellow in every group? No. Yes, without stuns I do, kinda. I have no other ability to control the fight, ordering of the fight. Yeah, exactly. Bellow is a poor man's stun. And since I can't run stuns at all. I mean, we're looking at this right now, right? And I am barely staying ahead of damage and stress, barely, and I'm not all the time. I can't imagine doing that without Bellow. I mean, the only other thing you could do is buff your own speed, but we're looking at, like, the only people who do that, I think, are, like, Jesters and, actually, Jesters and Men-at-Arms, and I think the buffing speed is less speed than the removing speed. I think it's, like, 3 compared to 5, or, like, 3 or 4 compared to 7 or something like that. So, the lower the damage group has, the longer the fights get. Yeah, but Plague Doctors are not low damage, and nor are Crusaders. It's just the damage positions where they can do damage is a little bit awkward. Okay, so if all of that is the case, which it is, what classes would we need outside of that? So I'm thinking about if we did this again. Not that I think we're dead, but I am losing one of my, I mean, I did level enough Vestals that it's not a huge problem, but I am a little worried about it. Assuming we did this again, what classes do we need for boss fights in particular? So what classes that not on that list do we absolutely need for boss fights? So what are the boss fights? We have Necro, Prophet, Swine King, and Inchoate Flesh. The Flesh, I guess we'll just call it, because it changes the adjective ahead of it every single time. And then it is Hag and Cannon. And then it is Siren and what do they call it? The Drowned Crew, the crew. And then it's the 4 Darkest Dungeons. And then it's DD1, DD2, DD3, DD4. Crusader's okay in DD1 for stress healing. Slower, but I'm not actually sure how we're going to do DD1 without stunning. So I don't know how we're ever going to stop the zombies. Like, my suspicion is we might not even be able to do that. I'm tempted to run into DD1 and just, like, do it. To see if we can do it or not. If we can't do it, I don't know that we can actually beat this without stuns. And I mean, okay, well, let's look at that list for a second. Necro doesn't, it doesn't really matter what characters you have for a Necro, so long as you can project damage, and I mean, he's a position 4. He'll end up in position 4 at the higher levels, which is great for the Hellion. But you could maybe do it without the Hellion. Couldn't do it really with the Crusader, though. So when you ran that one, it would be nice to have a Hellion. Put the Hellion over there as kind of like a thought. The Prophet would love an Occultist. Swine God would love an Occultist. And maybe an Arbalest. Although I feel like that's still probably wrong. I don't know what the fuck you do versus the Flesh. I'm not sure that any class really helps you versus the Flesh. All I know is that you absolutely want a friggin' Plague Doctor there. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Nikolai. That's what I was just saying. Both. You do both. The Hag needs damage position 3-4. Again, Hellion is a good damage position 3-4. And Arbalest is particularly poor in that fight, as is the Crusader. What classes am I forgetting for damage dealing? There's another, like, quasi damage. Oh, right. See, Grave Robber is amazing versus Hag. Quite good versus the Cannon as well. I actually think the Crusader was excellent versus the Crew, which is surprising. So we wouldn't have to do something special there. So we're looking at maybe like 1 to 2 Hellions and like 1 Grave Robber. This is actually hilariously pretty close to the comp we're in right now. We have a lot of Hounds, a lot of Vestals. We only have 1 Crusader because we haven't been using them quite as much. A lot of Plague Doctors, although we haven't been... The thing is, we leveled the Cove so aggressively that we now are having to make up for the fact we haven't been in other dungeons besides the Cove for so long. Grave Robber does fine versus Necro. Yeah, I guess she does. So we could replace the Hellion there and do a Grave Robber instead. We might be able to get rid of Hellions entirely, which would be really nice. Because, I mean, they're only really there for the Hag and the Necro, and probably the Grave Robber is slightly better. Although Hellion gets that really nice damage buff on that you can use for triggering versus bosses. I'm not sure that the Grave Robber's better for that. Hellion's good versus the Cannon too, though. Not great though, honestly, because they nerfed if it bleeds. So there's that lead for Siren. Siren's also another annoying one. Also kind of would be nice to hit position 3. Again, Grave Robber's amazing versus the Siren. Crusader can't hit position 3-4 though, which means that, yeah, the undead damage is great, but you're not going to get it 99% of the time. A guide for bosses. I don't know, man. Bosses are hard. Alright, so we're going to level 3 because sanity. Everybody's taken care of except Zanzi, who picked up some horrible disease because he didn't bag it. Haven't done items. I think that's the part we're on. They matter. I chased out a viewer matter today. He was annoying me. I don't know if that was a wise decision, or rather, not a wise decision, but he's being such a prick. What do we want? We want scouting, because scouting, we want stress, because stress. We want healing and speed. We gotta take this item off. We need to remember to take this item off. Not that one. That one. Yeah. And I guess we're bringing Arya box instead then. It's a little bit of a squishy group with double Hound Masters and a Hellion. Like, we have no, like, really tanky character. Maybe I don't want to run that. Maybe I want to run double heals. But the problem is how masters are fast. You know what happens when they go faster than the healer? They fucking die. It's actually interesting. I could go double scouting whistle. That'd be kind of hot. Night Owl is fast, and so is quick reflexes is that fast. That's bad news. Don't really want both of these. Yeah, matter. My Vesta was at full health. The spider crit it from full health to 0 and put a dot on it, and then we failed to resist the dot, so we died. It's pretty great. Pretty great. Level 6 Vestal, no problem. This is Human Slayer's good in this dungeon. Could bring double scouting whistle, that'd be nice. Wouldn't have to use scouting buffs then. This is low damage. There's no blight protection there. Could bring fortifying garlic. It's not a level 5 though, so I guess I don't have to worry about it quite as much. And the Hellion. Okay. Well, the Death Door tracker's not up to date because we've lost 4 characters. I mean, the 4 characters, that means we have to have failed it 4 times. It's just how that works. Okay. Oh, could I have a heart attack? No, all 3 of my characters died to dots. Oh, but Ricky didn't have a heart attack? Then I guess that's the 4th character.
Corruption has soaked the soil,
Okay.
sapping all good life.
Take it all
from
back,
these
Matter. You're
groves.
100% correct.
Let us burn out this evil.
We have plus 60% scouting. This group is not very good with shuffles. There's no winning play here. They both have to move back. The play is for days. Oh, disease on the first mission. The fits. I think that's increased speed at decreased accuracy. It's actually one of the diseases that isn't terrible, right? Yep.
A powerful blow. Slowly, gently. This is how a life is taken.
So what classes do we need for the Darkest Dungeon 1 through 4?
Such a terrible assault.
2 more
cannot
crits.
be left unanswered.
Literally assaults on my sanity right now. How did I not bring Blight Resist when I was just talking about fucking...
Precision and power. A death by inches.
Why are you going ahead of my Hellion?
Mortality clarified in
Another
a
crit.
single strike.
Solid, solid. That's right, Hellion. Get me a crit.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
Alright, good opening fight. Really pleased with the outcome of that.
Glittering gold, trinkets and baubles. Paid for in blood.
More zombies.
Annihilated.
Incoming double crits again. Shadow Man at Arms. Do we have 4 dog traits? Yeah, we do. We should be using some of these.
The slow death. Unforeseen. Unforgiving.
Damn, him resisting that blight just dot just saved him, I think. Maybe not, maybe I low rolled enough, didn't matter, but
Exposed to a killing blow.
the old 1 health save, huh? We have no men at arms here, so this is not a slower group, unfortunately. I need to do how big is this dot? Dot's 2. I need to do 1 damage with that. Okay. And apply the dot. Okay. Let's just put a stop to that for a round.
Great is the weapon that cuts on its own.
We don't really get recovery fights without stuns. It's getting harder and harder to find any time to recover in any of the fights without stuns. I'm gonna let him have this round and try to kill him next round. Then get another stress heal off and another heal off. That kills him now, right? Yep.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
100% of room battles. I have to clear both these fights out. But I don't have to take the second corridor fight. So let's poke over this way. Grab that. Back out. Go up. Should camp relatively early in this playthrough as well, since it's so long. To get rid of dog biscuits before I interact with this. There's no way I should interact with this right now.
Finding the stuff
That'd be a
is
terrible
only the
idea.
first test.
Throw out 1,000 gold for
Now it must be
750.
carried home.
That's 500, I guess. But I don't want a dog biscuit versus quivering ectoplasm. I don't.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive. Destroyed.
No big slime, no crit. Okay. I just talked about suppressing fire twice. I mentioned that it's
This
there,
expedition at least
but
promises success.
it's pretty weak. Would I just leave back there? Coffin. I don't want to leave coffins.
A fortune waiting to be spent.
Problem is, what does the Arbalest do, right? Like, where do I fit it? How does it help me? Does it help me? It does give me a second type of healing, but he's never going to go before my Vestals anyways. Arbalest base speed is equal or lower than the Vestal, and the Vestal's going to be running a speed item the entire time. So does it actually give me a chance to do that? I mean, I guess, kind of.
Eradicated.
Doesn't give me disease cure. It doesn't give me camping buffs I'm going to run.
Decimated.
So does suppressing fire and clear stun off torches with so what am I even gonna run for like abilities on the Arbalest?
That overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
So I would run. Gotta run the nuke, sniper fire. You gotta run. I don't actually have to run anything else after that. Blind fire probably to hit the last target. Other than that, you do have 2 slots open. I could run the heal and the, so for example, suppressing fire. But every time I cast suppressing fire, the only way that suppressing fire works is it's an accuracy and crit debuff for your opponents. The only way that works is if you have enough stacking accuracy debuffs that they can't hit you, and then you can stress recover off of that. I don't think just using that to lower their crit chance is good enough, especially since it's only like 5 or 10% on the first time you use it. It just doesn't feel good enough to me.
The fiend falls, a faint hope.
Yeah, but the Houndmaster doesn't seem to have the actions to mark. So like, I like the Houndmaster mark because the Houndmaster mark is the minus protection mark. It's the same as the Bounty Hunter mark, right? And I like the Bounty Hunter mark. It's just I already have things I want in the Houndmaster. I want his nuke, I want his stress heal, and I want his lick wounds heal, always. And some of the time I want guard dog. So. And some of the time I want Hound's Harry. Where do I find the 6th one for target whistle? It's even worse if you run stuns because you want blackjack. So I don't know about that. I don't know that I can actually run a mark on the Houndmaster. And the same with what I was just talking about with the Arbalest. Where do I run mark? If I'm bringing them for these other utilities, when do I get mark? And the Arbalest mark is the worst of the marks because it just removes dodge. And removing dodge marks is the fucking terrible because you have to hit with the mark first, which is a dodge test, before it applies the debuff. Which seems really pointless. Okay, this is dangerous. The Hellion has a dot on. She's about to be one-shot crit by Rohim here. I think I'm going to be greedy. No, I don't. No, I'm not. Guard dog and suppression have some synergy.
How quickly the tide turns.
Guard dog's pretty weak. It's kind of an oh shit emergency thing. Because it's only a 1-round guard, unlike the other guards, which are 2-round guards. That was a terrible shuffle. I actually can't move this character. I got a mace to the face here. I'm fine. If you could just do me the favor of shuffling again, that would be ideal. This is a level 3, remember? You know, lowering accuracy buff would be nice, kinda, if it could actually get them to a point where they're gonna miss, but I don't really think I'd do that here.
Grievous injury.
Okay, look at that. I mean, we're at plus 44 dodge versus a giant who's not particularly accurate anyways. No chance of that. Is he dead to his dot yet? No. Do 8 to 15, it's too high. So do 2 to 3 and add 3 to the dot, add 2 to the dot. So it'd be 9. That's fine. That prevents him from killing me.
alone does not dissuade the sharpened blade.
Lick Wounds is better than her heal. Her heal is really, really weak. Lick Wounds is as much healing as the direct target heal from the Vestal. Whatever the Arbalest heal is basically equivalent to the Crusader heal, which is really bad. That fight sucked. I think it might be camp time. 2 fights, and we come back on 3rd fight, then we go over 4th fight. Yeah, we took a lot of stress there. It was camp.
Circle in the dark. The battle may yet be won.
We don't need scouting this run. I'd like to stop being fucking surprised. That would be nice. How did we even get surprised on this? Didn't we scout this fight? Fine.
The light, the promise of safety.
Let's interact with that on the way out. We know we're going to be using 1 key. We might be using 3 keys. Actually, I counted the fights wrong too. There's another fight down there. Okay. You can't burn off that debuff.
A devastating blow.
There is a remove mortality camping skill, mortality buff camping skill, but it's a cultist only.
Masterfully executed.
Wouldn't have been a bad fight for dog biscuits. Dodge, nice.
Decisive pummeling.
Alright, moving him out of the way so I can't get marked hit. Gives him accuracy, crit chance, and damage, so. That's kind of bad though. Dot on the healer. I could just sub in another character again. Hounds are fairly flexible. Okay. Should have thought about that because stress healed, that would have been better. Look for a crit. Regular heal.
Hellish horrors. Brought low
How
and
am I planning
driven
to
into
end
the
it?
mud.
I don't know how to answer that. Whenever I can. Alright, let's figure out what we're doing with our inventory. Alright. Non-key chest. Okay, let's use one of these dog treats in the inventory space. I don't know why I attacked that one. The Hellion does better damage to that one. He's still at 1. Ugh, what a waste.
Impressive. Dazed, reeling, about to break.
Don't like this comp. It's too inflexible to being shuffled. Doesn't have enough hit points on their characters. It means I have to heal too often. We're doing it for leveling purposes, but I don't like it.
Well struck.
So many quivering ectoplasms. Got it. You like ectoplasms? It's cool, bro.
The bigger the beast, the greater the glory.
Camp again soon. How many more fights do I have at this? One more? I don't know what I'm going to pick up in here that I can actually use. I guess that. Gotta be way more efficient with our leveling next time. Can't do as many short and mediums.
To the spreading corruption.
Gotta do more longs and the level 3 longs.
Misintent.
Thanks for the bits, Sins! 1,000 bits. Thank you very much, man. Actually, a lot of bits. Okay, damage in the back. Let's kill these. Again, the pounds I should be shooting this. I'm so used to having not damage projection in the front ranks in position 4. I keep just like auto attacking the back ranks. When I have the Hellion, I should be auto attacking the 3rd rank with the hounds.
strike. Be wary. Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
100% of room battles. Go get the rest of our room battles. Leave that for the way. I'm not gonna touch that, but I would leave it for the way out otherwise. Okay, giant. It's bad. Dead to the dots, please. Good.
The ground quakes.
Crit, 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 shuffle. Okay, fun. Ouch. But not that much of an ouch. Not like his normal ouches. Only do 2 word. That might not be enough to kill him.
A victory. Perhaps the turning point.
It's a camp again. Get that inventory space out. Alright. Triple hounds and a stress caster, a nasty group. Not as nasty as spiders, I think, but still pretty damn nasty. Not quite enough. If I can do 2 and dot for 2, it is actually enough. You know, we just mess everything. No problem. Big roll. Scary. We have no way to control their actions, so they'll go last and first. This is why we need stuns or slows. Good. I don't think they do additional damage to marked targets, so I don't think it matters.
As victories mount, so too will resistance.
No fight down there. We don't have to go that way. I should go to the next corridor over, then I should camp. I'm not interacting with that.
Huddled together, furtive and vulnerable.
Alright, what the hell do we want to run here?
Rats in a maze.
We've already found the secret door. We have pretty good scouting already. I guess damage. Let's not get shuffled. Let's not get ambushed. 8 left. Just run it again. Fine.
As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
Get a free dot on my healer. This is the last fight coming up then. Don't need shovels after this. Alright, ectoplasms and stress casters. Lots of stress casters. We did not get a surprise round, annoyingly. I just fucking did the exact same thing I said not to do again. So I nuked position 4 instead of position 3. We could have killed position 3. That would have been better. Means wouldn't have taken one of those nukes. Another dodge off Howie. It's unfortunate. .48 stress from 0. Such high stress and low light. Such high stress. I don't think that's enough to kill him. I think he's at 1. He is indeed at 1. Third stress on the same fucking target. No way I can get that down with dog healing. It's frustrating. More stress. We're gonna go from 0 to 100 in one fight. Like we are. You don't really care. Well, I do care a little bit, I suppose. Pretty minimal though. Faster animations. I lost the webpage link to that. There was a suggestion for that. I had it open on my computer. I went up to bed last night. I was going to consider installing it this morning. I ran out of time. Wonder how it looks. Does it look stupid? Probably not. Probably make this much more enjoyable for me. I think I want to install that in my next playthrough. Maybe even this playthrough. Because, like, these animations could be a lot faster and I'd be just fine with that.
Monstrous size has no intrinsic merit, unless inordinate exsanguination be considered a virtue.
I could walk out of the dungeon right now. Seems not terrible. In which case I should toss the food. And then let's put on that. Get out of here.
The agents of pestilence will yet be driven from our woods.
22k. Some items. Levels. Not quite enough levels though. Annoyingly. Still long level, long medium too. Weak grip on life is terrible. All the rest of these are terrible as well. Scouting chance of warden's okay, but I'm not going to be bringing. Oh, darkest.exe has stopped working. Okay, if you say so. Alright, guys. However, it's 1:03 p.m. my time, and I'm getting wrecked. I'm gonna go get some food. I'll be back shortly.
Come to our family.